Hey lovers, it's your girl Diva. Thanks for tuning in to the Ask Diva podcast, and we are going to talk about this impeachment inquiry that was opened by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. It's formal, so it really feels good to a lot of Dems and a lot of voters and a lot of followers. But what does it really mean? So we're going to talk about that today here on the Ask Diva show. Thank you so much for tuning in via Spreaker and any other podcast that you're tuned in from. So I know you guys are listening over on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube. You may have caught it on the Instagram stories and took you over to the Spotify. However you are tuned in, know that I appreciate you. So we're going to do this for just a moment while I get the chat open. So we're going to bring in a little bit of chill out moment so I could get the people invited over on the chat, and I'm going to come right back to you, okay? And do not be disturbed. You're going to hear a little bit in the background. All right, my sweet lovers, so we're going to talk very briefly. We're not going to be on this for very long. So I know ever since probably the third day of office, when Donald Trump stepped into the office, by the third day, people wanted him impeached, So there were people that wanted him impeached before he was actually announced as the president of the United States. So I mean, this has been an ongoing thing for a very, very long time with this particular president. And do understand that there are also a lot of times when we thought, oh, wait, surely that will mean, there was a time when something released and he had said some very derogatory, really degrading things, and it's like, oh yeah, man, they pulled that from his past, and he's actually the president. They should do something about that. They should try to impeach him, and nothing came from that. Then the whole Mueller report came out, and oh wow, they should really just get on this, and this everything that this guy has done, it has been so negative and so awful. Surely they're going to impeach him. And yeah, no, that didn't get impeached either. So I don't really know if you guys are really understanding what's really happening here, because there was almost like happy hour announcements, and people were throwing parties. You saw balloons go up in the air. Like, people are really way too excited about a formal impeachment. I personally don't think that I'm really that moved. I really think that, okay, step one was the Mueller report. Step two, I'm kind of calling this formal impeachment that was announced by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Okay, maybe this will kind of get us somewhere in the area of, but I still don't really think of it more than this, right? So here's what I really think that the impeachment is. But before we talk about that, let's talk about National Voter Registration Day. So it is National Voter Registration Day. You still have time to go online and get on to the different websites and do your research in the area that you're in and register to vote. So you need to register to vote. I really hate, if you want to be a part of the conversation, And you're not a registered voter. You don't deserve to be a part of the conversation if you're not a registered voter. Now, I do understand if you're moving and you relocated and you're going to have to get your registration updated for that area and all that. All that's understandable. But I'm talking to some people that I personally know who have never registered to vote, who have never went to vote. And that is very devastating because you're always opinionated about political topics. You don't deserve to be in the conversation if you refuse to go vote. It's National Voter Registration Day. So what we want the voters to do is we want the people that are out there and you're already registered to vote, or maybe you're planning to go, take 3 people with you. Or if you're already registered, go encourage 3 people to go. Don't just tell them to go. Don't just, let the ball drop on them. Like really, really, really walk them through the steps. If they have any questions, if they do not know where to go and you have some free time, or you know a representative in your area that has some free time, then take them. I remember when we were getting ready for the election for Barack Obama for the first term, right? And I was going and showing people where to go. I stood in line with people that didn't want to stand in line by themselves. And, I when it was time to vote, I did a lot just to make sure that people understand that this is very, very important. And you have to put in that effort every year. You have to just start with 3. Just get 3 people in your family registered to vote, 3 people in your community, 3 of your co-workers, 3 of the people that you hang out with at the gym. Just get 3, and if you could get more, then it's going to be even better. But start your best number is to start at 3. Then you've really done something, right? So just spend that next few days if you can. We really want you to focus on today, and I know it's the end of the day for National Voter Registration Day, but really just focus on just getting 3 people that you personally know they are not registered, yet they are eligible to register to vote. And I know that there are a lot of setbacks in a lot of counties on that, but just make it a pledge and make a commitment that you will take 3 people. If you feel like talking to me about it, make sure that you tweet me when you do. I'd love to see your photos. Miss Diva for you, MZDEEVA, the number 4 YOU. So get out there, register to vote. Make sure that you vote in this next election. Make sure that you are voting in your mid-elections, right? Make sure that you're getting your voice heard. Then you deserve to be a part of the conversation. But there's the complainers out there, and a lot of us have a lot of them in our families and in the communities that we're in that are not registered to vote. There are certain cultures that do not allow any of their family members not to vote. They make sure that every last one of them, they make sure that the little baby starts spelling the first word vote right when they start talking. They make sure that their children say VOTE. That's why they're in control. So if you want that kind of control, you're going to have to put those kind of practices into your family daily, make it a part of who you are, right? Because if we want control, it's going to have to take doing the things and sacrificing and being a part of what it takes to be by the majority control, right? So let's get back to the impeachment inquiry and what it really is. And we're going to wrap up the conversation. If you wanted to chat, you can send me a chat. You can also talk to me about this as you're listening, if you're listening later, on social media. I think I was sharing that with you earlier, on Twitter and on Instagram, MZDEEVA, the number 4 YOU. You can also hit me over on my Facebook, #ASKDEEVA. So you can feel free to leave your comments. I know that you should be aware that you shouldn't leave a nasty comment. So if you do leave a nasty comment, you gotta know I'm gonna delete it. I'm a speed reader, so I probably won't see all of this long sentence or something. Like if I see that it's really mean, like I'm gonna see it quickly, delete it, and it's out my memory. So you're wasting your time coming to do that anyway. But if you decide to do it, then it's on you. But here's what the impeachment inquiry really means in my eyes. So I'm going to make it the example of it being like an employer. So you know how when your employer is, who would be the manager, maybe the lead manager, right? The head manager, or sometimes the assistant manager, they'll work together. And however your hierarchy works at where you are. So if you're in the corporate world, for us, it would be like the HR director and the vice president may even bring in the CEO to try to have, an input, but usually the HR director will work with the vice president and try to make a decision along with your manager to try to make a decision, right? So you've been cutting up. You've been, in the break room saying, grab them by the pee. You have been having conversations when you talk to your people at the company overseas, and you've been talking to the leaders in the overseas companies, and you've been saying inappropriate things or maybe making inappropriate deals. You've just been doing a lot of shady, dirty things. And every time everybody gets off work, you get on your Twitter feed and you just say all these negative things and disrespectful things. You say awful things about Latinas. You're always talking about building walls. Like, you're just a problem employee, right? So if you are a problem employee and you have, on the first day that you were brought into that position, you were told what is expected of you of this job and what they expect you to do. They were also very clear when they hired you to let you know that they don't want you to cross the line at any time. And if you do cross the line, this doesn't mean that this is going to happen to you. Everybody remembers their training day, right? Even this guy knows. So this doesn't mean that this is going to happen to you. But if you happen to cross the line, I hope you understand that means that this sort of a process may begin to unfold for you. So you're going to get a warning, the Mueller report. You're going to get someone to have a conversation with you, and we're going to talk back and forth with you. We may even tweet each other, back and forth and have all these tweets about how we feel about it. But then we're going to start feeling like you're getting a little bit out of hand. And so with that, we may decide to send you on a little vacation and let you go golfing for a little bit with some PTO. And if that little vacation with the PTO doesn't really change the behavior and we bring you back inside the office and you're still cutting up, now we're going to have to put down a written warning. And so we did all that we could to investigate, talk with you, try to give you an idea of how we really need this thing to go, what we expect of you of this position, yet you're not doing what we asked you to do. So we're going to have to actually just really start making some decisions on and putting some ultimatums on the table. So with those ultimatums, your employers are now saying that we're about to submit this to the corporate office. So we're going to take this and we're going to put this in a written form, which would now be what we're calling an impeachment inquiry, okay? So we're going to just really lay this down on the line. We're going to send that over to corporate. Now, we understand that corporate is the Senate, and by the majority, the Senate probably sides with you. So we already know that you have really put some real tenure in your position. So you more than likely, nothing's really going to happen to you more than likely if the corporate office is not fed up. Now, if the corporate office is fed up and they've had enough and you're making the company look really, really bad, especially to all of their international connections, and the international connections are now laughing at them as a majority, it is possible that you're going to be sent home with a slim severance package and asked not to return anymore. You probably are going to be signing a non-disclosure as well, an NDA. That's really all this is. It's just simply a written warning to say, dude, we told you we're not playing with you. And you keep on playing with us. And because you keep on playing with us and you keep on thinking that we put you in position and that we won't let you go, and you think that you have some kind of businessman, business savvy, dollars tenure, sir, we will part ways with you if you don't cut it out. Because even with your businessman status, there are some lines that we will not have crossed, right? So that's really all that this is. This is normally when a person receives the written warning and it is announced across the nation, they usually will just go into their little office. Everybody all knows that you just got this written warning, and the break room is talking and everyone's talking, and the person will usually retreat a little bit and try to really think about, what am I going to do, because now everybody's really putting me in this ultimatum status and I have to make a decision here. Am I going to quit, or are they going to let me go, and what's really going to happen? So I'm going to lay low for a minute and really think. We wouldn't get on Twitter But as you all know, this particular leader-in-chief, this particular person, he decided to get on Twitter and cut up some more. I really don't think that was a good idea. So I am not going to solidify and say that this impeachment inquiry will not work at all, because that would be too broad of a statement. But I am thinking that this is more of a written warning that the Dems really put in a lot of effort, but it doesn't seem like they had a lot of resistance from Republicans either. And it's a written warning from everyone as a whole. And the nation is getting to take a bite out of this as well and say, look, we're done with your cutting up. You're making us look bad. You're dividing the nation more than it was already divided. We've had enough of you. You're taking us 100 years back in less than 3 years' time. So it's really just time that we go ahead and just, we're going to have to really go separate ways probably. But we will give you this chance while we have this written warning on the table. You can kind of come clean with some things that you've done, and maybe we can say that you are apologetic in nature and that you do intend to change. And if you do intend to change, then you can show us, and we will go ahead and continue on this destructive path that we chose when we brought you on to work for us in the first place, right? So there's that. So we really I don't want to make a broad statement and say that impeach, he's gone, because I mean, what are you, 2 years old that you don't remember Bill Clinton, right? So you already know that this impeachment formal impeachment inquiry may not really do what you are hoping it is going to do, but it is used as an employer tactic, so to speak, to say, look, this is your written warning, and you need to get your stuff together because we've had enough. And if you don't get your stuff together, these are the consequences. And it's not going to look so good to you, because you're going to go down in history with our company as being the person that couldn't play by the rules, and so we had to cut ties, right? So everybody that's been in that position and understands people, seen people, let go at a job and really like, oh, wow, what? Paco lost his job? What? Man, he been loyal for 25 years. I never thought they let him go. He was calling in and cutting up and smoking weed and doing whatever. But man, I know him and Bobby, they lost their job. Come on. We already know these scenarios from the workplace. So it's not like we're confused as to what this really is, right? So whether or not the Senate will really roll with it, I don't know. It's feeling real slim in that area. So I can't go with the whole ding dong debate. Which is gone, right? So thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate your support of the show. I've got a hot relationship topic coming up today, but I thought I'd talk about this historical moment in Donald Trump history time, that this is going to really be a part of him. And whether he likes it or not, he's still going to be known as the president that a formal impeachment was open. Your approval ratings are probably even going more down, because it's always embarrassing to the people that support you, and they're going to be defensive, and they're going to act like, I don't care, this doesn't mean anything, and y'all are snowflakes and all that other stuff that they used to deflect. But they're deeply embarrassed. You have embarrassed the F out of them, so they are not going to be too happy, and this is really bad for you for 2020. So rise up, 2020 candidates, because this is definitely something that you should probably just, if your campaign manager knows anything, make this the big thing that you talk about, during your campaign, to really get us voters, to help us to understand who do we want to vote for. And we're going to watch your conversation around the impeachment. We're watching that. Voters are watching you. We're trying to see, what are your thoughts? How did you reply? Was it coming from malice? Just so much is going on in the voters' mind. So campaign managers, make this one work for you, because this one could really make sure that if he survives to 2020, that's something that will definitely be on him, But there's a conversation going on Twitter, and that's what we are going to end it with. So I'm going to share with you the hashtags that happened from this. So hashtag impeach Trump. Also trending with Mike Pence and President Pence is being said. Let's see what. Oh, let's go. That's some interesting thoughts right there. So, of course, they're talking about Nancy Pelosi's confirming the House representative is moving forward with a formal impeachment inquiry. So the president has to be held accountable, she said. Somebody did that face, that one mom, I don't know what the meme is from, but that is so viral right now, where she's looking to the side, then she makes this face when she looks to the front, and said Trump impeached, but Pence as president. That's really, I'm just like, let this dude just ride it out, write this dude up and tell him you expect best of him, and what you don't want him to do, and send him on a long golfing vacation. But I don't know if we want Pence as president. I'm with you on that, girl. I'm sorry, that was Angelina over on Twitter. And then Frederick Joseph says, while everyone is celebrating Nancy Pelosi finally decided to pursue impeachment, let's not forget that Maxine Waters was the person truly leading this charge. Auntie Maxine reclaiming her time is deep. So, Ryan Knight follows up and says the same thing. Thank you, Representative Maxine Waters and Representative Al Green. You were the first to call for the impeachment of the most lawless president in American history, and our nation owes you both a debt of gratitude for your moral leadership and patriotism. Hashtag impeach Trump. Nice. And then you have impeachment is trending with the impeachment hearings and impeachment investigation. Let's see what the people have to say. Okay, so David Leavitt, Leavitt, says, we're finally going to make America great again. It's going to take a lot more than that, but I will leave that alone. Let's see. Who else is... I'm sorry, I'm scrolling you guys here. I'm trying to catch one really good. Mrs. Betty Bowers says, believe me, nobody in history has had bigger impeachments than me. Obama never even had one. This guy's a loser. Just now, a big strong man came up to me. He has tears streaming down his face right now. He said, sir, you will have the very best impeachment ever. Thank you. Okay. What is that about? Yeah, I'm sorry that you guys have to go back and read that one. That one came from Mrs. Betty Bowers. People are doing the dancing, the dancing gifts. Me and my team right now dancing to hashtag impeachment. So yeah, people are really excited about it. Impeach the MF. Let's go over there and see what they have to say. They're probably a little hyped up. So Essence Magazine left it alone and said, hashtag impeach the MF with a sad face and then a laughing face. Nicole said, she finally said it as Speaker Pelosi announces impeachment inquiry. Drop your impeachment inquiry dance below. So people are dropping their gifts. Yes, Madam Speaker, with Oprah screaming the, red dress, you have a car, you get a car. One that came from DEM Texas girls. God tweeted. So the good God above, at the good God above, said, this is not a sad day. Every day before this was a sad day. Today is a good day. Hashtag impeach the MFer. Well, look at that. So God pretty much solidifies the thoughts on that. So that came from the good God above. I am so done. That's hilarious. So the conversation is definitely huge, but again, I don't know. I'm just going to follow this very closely because I honestly think that it's just a written warning, and that it's really not going to go anywhere, and he's going to find a way to pay his way. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys, I say pay, you guys forgive me on that. Write a check. I mean, no one does that anymore. He's going to find a way to talk his way out of this, right? So, Patrick says, the man who altered a hurricane map with the Sharpie wants you to believe that he won't alter a phone transcript. Exactly, because that phone transcript tomorrow with Ukraine leader is something to be listened to. I can't wait to see how that's been altered. The edited, when a dirty cop edits a clip after a shooting, right? Probably something like that. Adam says, show me a reporter who takes a transcript from Sharpie guy at face value, and I'll show you a crappy reporter. Yeah, so they started talking about the transcript that's going to be released tomorrow by the Trump administration. The conversation, we'll talk about that at another time. All right, thanks you guys for coming by, being a part of the show. Let me know your thoughts. Again, you can tweet me yourself, Miss Diva for you. Ask Diva. So you can find me on Twitter, AskDeeva, and the handle is at Miss Diva for you, MZDEEVA, the number 4 and YOU. You guys have a amazing evening.